How did David and Jonathan know? I have two sincere questions. By the way, we covered Heidi's other question when we talked about famine. The first question is basically is what she's saying. If the month doesn't start until the first sliver of light is seen, how did David and Jonathan know that tomorrow is a new moon in 1 Samuel 20? Tomorrow being that day at sunset. Okay, I understand what she's saying. She believes that in the daytime they said this and that tomorrow would begin at sunset. Tomorrow would begin when they saw the new moon. So let's get into some scripture. So in the story, first of all, I want to tell you, as a new moon observer, I don't go with science so much on anything that's scriptural. Actually, I try to take everything, all of my belief, all of my theology straight from the text of the scripture. So we're going to look at the story of Noah because for me it has a very important key in it. The story of Noah tells us that during the time the moon could not be seen. Why couldn't it be seen? Because Noah and his family had been shut up in the ark by Elohim. During that time, that 150 days equaled 5 months. This would make 5 30-day months. And we're going to look at the text. In the 600th year of Noah's life, this was the second month, the 17th day of the month. Then the verse where we know that Elohim shut him in the ark is in Genesis 7. Then we see in Genesis 24 that after the 40 days of rain that the waters prevailed upon the earth 150 days. Remember, he has been shut in the ark by Elohim. Then on Genesis 8:4, it says, in the seventh month on the 17th day. Where it says in Genesis 7:11, on the second month on the 17th day. That is 5 months that he was shut in for the deluge. Elohim had shut him in. 5 months are 150 days according to Genesis 7:11, Genesis 8:4, and Genesis 7:24. Now it was another 8 days in Genesis 8, it was another 40 days in Genesis 8:11 that Noah opened the window to the ark. We could absolutely say that Noah had blind faith. And this was what most of the world would tell you is scientific, based on storms, based on those types of things. But I see a man of faith with his eyes on God being obedient. So Noah had blind faith and trusted Elohim. As a new moon observer for over 9 years, I have seen some months that will contain 29 days, other months that will contain 30 days. So for more than 9 years, I've watched the new moons on a monthly basis. And they are not always 30 days apart, like we read about in the story of Noah. But because we have that record, I am totally comfortable saying that 30 days is the maximum number of days that we have in a lunar cycle, or what the Bible calls a month. So now we're going to look at 1 Samuel 20, verse 5, where the verse in question is. It says, and David said unto Jonathan, behold, tomorrow is the new moon. I should not fail to sit with the king at meat. Let me go that I may hide myself in the field unto the third day at even or evening. So this word tomorrow that has a lot of us thinking that when he saw the moon in whatever day he's talking in, that would be the tomorrow, can mean more than tomorrow. It can mean hereafter, a time to come. And I'm going to show you why I believe that that's what was happening in this scripture. Because what we see is David says he was going to hide himself in the field unto the third day at even, just before that moon comes up and changes it to the fourth day. because he did not want to sit at the table with the king. So you have 3 days that he's saying the moon could appear. Let me explain. When you see the moon, it has become the next day. The moon is the marker of the changing of the guards from daytime, which is the sun, to nighttime, which is the moon. And Genesis says, Erev, just before the moon comes, and Boker are a day. So when you see the moon, it becomes the next day, or by the time you see it, it actually has become the next day. On the 29th night, you're watching and the new moon has not been seen. Even though it's not been seen, it's the time that the moon should be seen, so it's become the 30th day. On the 30th day, at moontime, whether or not now you've seen the moon, because of the story of Noah, we know we have a 30-day calf. On the 30th day at moontime, it has become the first day of the next month. This is how you get 3 days of hiding that David asked Jonathon for. And I understand from a Western mentality, this is a little cumbersome and a little hard maybe to grasp. But basically, what I'm saying is when you go out for the new moon watch on the 29th, and if you saw the moon, it would be the new month. Because when you see the new moon, you've entered the new day. The same thing on the 30th. If you don't see it the 29th, then you must watch. You don't really must watch, but I do watch because people like that photo. Watch on the 30th night, and if you get your picture, great, but it doesn't matter because on the 30th night at moontime, it will become the first day of the month. So this is the 3 days of David and Jonathon.